Disney World is one of the most expensive theme parks in the world right now, but it's also one of the most unreliable. I'm your Disney World wingman, and I'm gonna tell you how to avoid the #1 problem people are facing in Walt Disney World right now: planning around a moving target. Planning a Disney World vacation is all about thinking ahead. You can buy your park tickets nearly a year in advance. You can book your hotel as soon as Disney releases its pricing calendar for the next year, usually around 12 to 14 months out. Dining reservations open 60 days ahead of time. You can lock in extras like horseback riding at Fort Wilderness or poolside patios at the Polynesian, fireworks dessert parties, spa treatments, or specialty tours all 60 days in advance as well. That's 2 months. Already a huge reduction from the 6-month window we used to have before 2020. Hey, 2 months? We'll take it. But when it comes to the most critical and expensive parts of your vacation, how long you'll spend in lines, or more importantly, how long you'll get to stay out of them, you're expected to hold your breath until the last minute. Line skipping services at Disney World can only be purchased starting 7 days before your visit if you're staying at a Walt Disney World resort, or 3 days before if you're staying off property. There's no pricing calendar for the year, no guaranteed range, no way to build your budget months out. And that's a huge problem for a lot of us because the cost can swing dramatically depending on when and where you go. And I don't know about you, but I'm not made of money. MultiPass lets you make 3 Lightning Lane reservations in advance for a single park. Once you use your first reservation or the arrival window expires, you can book another, and then another after that. It's a rolling system. You start with 3, and as the day goes on, you can keep booking more as you use them as long as availability remains. Even if a ride seems sold out though, it's important to keep trying because it's common for those reservations to open back up. We've got a whole video on how to do that right here on the AllEars YouTube channel. You can check it out right after this one. The price for MultiPass is based entirely on when and where you visit. It starts at $15 per person on low crowd days at Animal Kingdom and can climb to $39 per person at Magic Kingdom during peak seasons. That's a 160% swing for the exact same service just based on your park and date. Single Pass covers select high demand attractions. These range from $11 to $25 per ride, again, depending on when and where you go. For example, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train has been priced as low as $11. Star Wars Rise of the Resistance routinely hits $25, even on moderately busy days. Premier Pass is the top tier option. It gives you access to all Lightning Lane attractions in a single park with no return windows and no scheduling required. But it comes at a premium. On a slow day at Animal Kingdom, it might be $129 per person. On a holiday week at Magic Kingdom, it can spike to $449 per person. That's a $320 price difference, or nearly 250% increase based entirely on when and where you go. And all of these are per person prices. For a family of 4, just 1 day with Premier Pass can cost more than $1,700. And if you're supposed to make that decision with just a few days notice of your vacation, that's not just inconvenient, it's unreliable and pretty much financially dangerous. You can't predict how much it's going to cost, and you can't plan around it until the moment to purchase the passes arrives, right? Well, not really. There's one feature inside the My Disney Experience app that gives you a little more time and a little more power if you know where to look. It's not hidden, and it's not forbidden, but it's not advertised either. If you haven't already, download the My Disney Experience app to your phone. Go ahead and open it now. Click on the home button and look for the banners that say Lightning Lane MultiPass Single Pass and Lightning Lane Premier Pass. Click the button under either one of your choice, the button that says Purchase, something most people don't even think to do until the day they actually plan to buy. But if you click on it with me right now, you'll find a helpful secret. When you get to this calendar, click on any date, and you can see the prices for MultiPass, Single Pass, and Premier Pass in their respective sections. It gives you prices 3 weeks in advance, so if you check this 3 weeks before your trip, you'll be able to see exactly how much each pass will cost when it comes time to buy. It gives you at least a little time to plan ahead, figure out which ones you might want to use, and whether the cost fits your trip. It's reliable, it updates daily, and it shows you exactly what to expect. And most guests have no idea this exists. It's not a perfect solution. You still can't lock anything in until your purchase day, But when the difference is hundreds of dollars from one day to the next, even a 3-week head start can be the thing that helps keep your budget intact. What do you mean it's closed? You can plan your Disney World vacation down to the minute. Every meal, every ride, every reservation, but sometimes things just don't go as planned. Take, for instance, the recent unexpected closure of Space 220 for a day and a half. Rumors started flying about whether lunch service was being quietly cut or if more changes were on the horizon. But in reality, it was a sudden lobby refurbishment, an operational hiccup that could happen in any restaurant anywhere in the world. It just hits harder when you're in Disney World because the expectations are so high. I remember in the 90s, my Uncle Graham planned the perfect Walt Disney World vacation for the two of us. He mapped out every single meal, every ride, even the exact seat we'd sit in for the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular, because he'd read all the guidebooks and did everything they said. This was before the internet was even really a thing. One night he made a reservation for us at Fulton's Crab House, which was in the riverboat behind me. Now it's called Paddlefish, and before that it was called the Empress Lily, here in what we now call Disney Springs. He had printed out our confirmation and brought it out, hard copy, with us on a piece of paper, because that's what you did in the 1990s. Well, we showed up to the restaurant, dressed up, excited, only to find it was completely closed. A sign on the door said closed for refurbishment. That was it. No phone call, no warning, just gone. He literally stood right here in this exact spot with his confirmation printed out in his hand that apparently meant nothing, and he just got quiet. And we both stared up at the riverboat. He had done everything right. He planned so carefully, and none of it mattered. And it still happens today. Guests at Saratoga Springs, Old Key West, and the Port Orleans resorts were recently greeted with the sudden disappearance of the Sassagoula River cruise boats that take guests back and forth to Disney Springs. This scenic and peaceful boat ride is a key amenity, as it's not just a great way to get to Disney Springs and back to your resort, it's also a ride in and of itself. This year is a planned closure that Disney announced in advance due to dock refurbishment. But the past 2 years, one in late August 2023 and the other in spring 2024, were both sudden and unannounced, leaving guests stranded without warning. In the past, these closures were blamed on seasonal water levels, but cast members recently told me that they were fixing a broken dam that's been causing the inconsistency. The good news is that once it's fully repaired, the boat service should finally become dependable year-round again. But the truth is, when something goes down suddenly like that, guests are rarely given a full explanation. Tiana's Bayou Adventure, Magic Kingdom's newest headliner attraction, has already developed a reputation for being unreliable. It's fun though, when it works. Even now, about a year after its troubled previews and opening, it continues to go down unexpectedly throughout the day. Some days it opens late, some days it closes early, some days it shuts down multiple times in between. And it's not the only one. Star Wars Rise of the Resistance has been dealing with this same issue since the day it opened in 2019. You can't count on these rides being there when you've scheduled them, and there's no pattern to predict when they'll close, whether it's due to technical difficulties or otherwise. Other attractions that go down frequently include Test Track in Epcot, Slinky Dog Dash in Hollywood Studios, and Expedition Everest in Animal Kingdom. And none of this is rare. It happens all the time. If you're visiting Disney World and not checking the My Disney Experience app constantly, you could easily walk across the park only to find the thing that you're headed for is closed. Now, when rides go down and you're holding a Lightning Lane reservation, whether through MultiPass or Premier Pass, you'll usually be issued a Select Experience Lightning Lane that can be used on most other attractions in the same park. If it was a single pass ride like Rise of the Resistance, you'll get a redemption pass that lets you ride it later in the day. And here's a tip. Those Select Experience passes often let you re-ride something you've already done, which is otherwise not allowed with Premier or MultiPass. So if the ride you have a reservation for goes down, and your favorite ride, well, you already rode it once, that might be your ticket to actually getting to ride it again. if you forego riding the ride that you had the reservation for. Even resort refurbishments can catch you off guard. The Stormalong Bay pool at the Yacht and Beach Club is under a massive refurbishment, and this was announced. However, this construction on the backside of the yacht club is a lot more extensive than a lot of us were prepared for. And this is the type of thing that can pop up and surprise you. It's not just the pool, it's the whole rear of the yacht club. Caribbean Beach Resort's main pool had a planned closure last year, but a few months ago it was drained and closed again without notice for additional work. These things happen, and when they do, it's usually with very little heads up. So what do you do when the unexpected happens? My first advice is stay calm. You'll get a lot farther with Disney World cast members, guest relations, or guest experience cast members, resort front desk staff, or any leader you encounter by being polite and clear about what's gone wrong. I understand the feeling of utter betrayal when something falls apart after all the money you've spent, the planning you've done, and the pressure you're under to make this trip perfect. And now, instead of writing something or relaxing, you're spending time and energy getting a mistake corrected. But please trust me. I'm in the parks every day. I talk to cast members more than I talk to my own best friends or family. And here's what I've learned. If you can stay composed, explain the issue clearly, and help them understand how it's affecting your family or your experience, you'll almost always get the fastest, best resolution. Is it fair? No. Is it your job to absorb the inconvenience caused by someone else's error? Also no. But it's my job to help you get the best experience possible out of Walt Disney World. And this is how you do it. Something that is cool to see though are these bags right here. This is all the new sand that they're about to put down inside Stormalong Bay. That's pretty cool. See, sometimes it's fun to see the construction work in progress and think about what it's going to be like when it's finished. This isn't the vacation you might think it is. A lot of people show up to Disney World with the wrong picture in their head. They've been saving for months, maybe years. They've built this thing up to be perfect, a fantasy, a reward, a dream that's supposed to play out exactly as planned. But the truth is, Disney World doesn't play along with perfection. Not anymore. This isn't a luxury resort where you're pampered and catered to. It's a do-it-yourself trip that costs more than a 5-star experience, but demands more from you physically, mentally, and emotionally than most people are ready for. You wake up early, you fight for reservations, you check your phone more than you should, and then if something breaks down, if a ride goes offline, if the weather derails your plan, if a cast member gives you the wrong information, there's no buffer. You feel it because you did everything right, and it still didn't go the way that you needed it to. I want you to understand this. That doesn't mean you failed. You didn't plan wrong, you didn't do it badly, you're just up against a system that is no longer built to protect your plans. And the only way to make it through with your sanity intact is to build flexibility into your expectations from the start. Let go of the idea that everything has to be magical to be worth it. If you need to take an afternoon off, do it. If your group needs to split up because someone's having a hard time, split up. If your kid melts down in the middle of Main Street or you're just completely out of energy, get a drink, find shade, sit down, and breathe. And if you're right on the verge of a meltdown, do whatever works. Most of you don't walk around drinking Monster Energy drink in your normal life. Most full-grown adults anyway. Some people might have tried a Red Bull once at a club in 2010 and never touched one again. And honestly, same. I always thought Monster was for a different demographic, like if you're 22 and ride dirt bikes, which is cool if you are. No, I'm not trying to, you're cool if you ride dirt bikes. I wish I could ride dirt. I wish I was 22 and could ride dirt bikes. But I live here. I've done the extreme days on AllEars. I've followed Frybucket around from before dawn until after midnight. I've had 4 coffees in one day and felt nothing. Coke Zero, useless. And in those moments, a Monster saved me. This isn't an ad for Monster Energy drinks. I'm just being honest. It's sold around Walt Disney World. You can actually find it in refrigerated cases next to the soda. It's got about as much caffeine as a strong cup of coffee, 160 milligrams in a 16-ounce can. It also has B vitamins like B2, B3, B6, and B12. It's got taurine, which some people say helps reduce fatigue and improve endurance. I'm not telling you it's a health drink, I'm telling you it works. It's something that's there when you've run out of other options. If you're someone who enjoys an alcoholic beverage and you're in Magic Kingdom, a famously dry park, you can get a drink now at select table service restaurants. It's not widely advertised and most people don't even think to try. But if you find yourself in need of a fine beverage, you can try your luck by walking up to a host stand and asking if there's availability for drinks and appetizers. Now this won't work everywhere. Liberty Tree Tavern and Cinderella's Royal Table are prefixed, so they're less ideal if you're looking for a drink. But spots like the Plaza Restaurant, Skipper Canteen, and Tony's Town Square are good bets. Yes, Tony's serves alcohol, wine, beer, and a few cocktails. Literally just checked with Skipper Canteen, and it is indeed acceptable for guests to come up and request a walk-up reservation and just enjoy a cocktail and hors d'oeuvres. Of course, it's always preferred that you come and do the standard thing of making a reservation and having, a full meal, but they did tell me that people do it all the time and it's completely okay. So always an option. You can try your luck at Skipper Canteen with a walk-up reservation, cocktails, and apps. And if you'd rather have a proper bar experience, Sage's go-to move is to hop on the resort monorail, go one stop here to the Contemporary Resort, and go to Outer Rim. It's a classic lobby bar with beer, cocktails, and a view of Bay Lake. It's quick, it's casual, and it gives you that reset moment without having to fully leave the area. And if you'd like a quick adult beverage without having to leave a tip, head next door to Contempo Cafe. Here you can mobile order a beverage or go directly to the case and grab one yourself and enjoy it here in Grand Canyon Concourse. Now, I'm not saying you should turn your Walt Disney World vacation into a rager, but if you're someone who relaxes with a cold beer or cocktail, these options can help you unwind, maintain a little consistency while you're away from home, and give you a minute to catch your breath. Now let's talk about one of the most important resets of all, hydration. You should be drinking tons of water on your Disney World vacation. A lot of people on the AllEars team carry refillable water bottles to use at the refill stations around property to stay hydrated. That works great for them. But for me, it's not really realistic. I'm 43 years old. I walk Disney World every single day. I've got physical pain and limitations, and carrying a big heavy water bottle all day just doesn't work. So here's my trick. And if you've seen our video, I go to Disney World every day and this is the only way I'll do Magic Kingdom, you already know I'm obsessed with this. Free ice water! This is not the good ice. I like it, I still like it. You can get it at literally any quick service restaurant. Walk up to the mobile order pickup window and ask for a cup of ice water. They'll give it to you, no purchase necessary. Some locations like Baseline Tap House in Hollywood Studios or Spice Road Table in Epcot even let you grab your own cup and pour from a self-serve container. Sunshine Seasons is another great option. You walk up, grab your own cup, and fill it from the soda machine. Here's a pro tip. The iced tea dispensers that are around property often put out amazing cold water too, because it's better than the soda tap sometimes. You don't need to spend $6 on bottled water. That's not an exaggeration. A 20-ounce bottle of Smart Water in Disney World costs $6. You also don't need to carry a giant jug around if you don't want to. You just need to hydrate. Whatever method works best for you, use it. The point is, keep drinking water. The other thing you need? Sleep. Not just at night, which, let's be honest, you're probably not getting enough of, but in the middle of the day too. If you feel like you're hitting a wall and nothing is helping, go back to your resort and take a nap. I've done this many times. Midday nap, full reset, and then I head back to the parks. No shame at all. You're not missing so much that it's worth being miserable. You're not a bad parent, a bad friend, or a bad planner for needing a break. You are a human being doing something physically extreme in the Florida heat. Don't ruin the day for yourself or the people you love by trying to power through when you're crashing. Take care of yourself so you can actually be part of the day. So whether it's a monster, a cold beer, a glass of water, or a full-on nap, whatever gets you back on your feet, That's part of the magic too. If you haven't guessed what Disney World's biggest problem is right now, it's that it's unreliable. And that's unacceptable from a company that, if you're anything like me, already gets most of your money. So what can we do about it? We plan smart, we stay flexible, we hydrate, we nap, we bring the backup battery, we drink the Monster, you ask for the walk-up at Skipper Canteen. We do every single thing within our control, and then you let the rest happen. That's the reality now. You can't lock in perfection. You can't depend on the system to run smoothly, but you can build the kind of trip that leaves room for chaos without falling apart. We've shown you how to do that. You've got the tools. You're not doing it wrong. You're doing everything right for a version of Disney World that still has magic in it, even when it doesn't follow the script. If you made it to the end, go ahead and put this password in the comments below. And while you're down there, hit like and subscribe and turn on notifications. We've got new videos coming out 7 days a week. See you next time.